Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole, Sunday afternoon, May 7th. Well, everybody, we're supposed to be on an 8-week term, but this is our 9th message, so we call this week 9 of Political Science 1013 for the spring 2023 term on the second 8-week schedule. Everyone, this almost certainly will be my last message to you for the term. Just a couple of important things we need to say. The final exam is coming up this Wednesday and Thursday, May 10th and 11th, for 48 hours. Some students have asked me, the format for the final exam will be the same as the previous 3. It will not be comprehensive. It will cover Units 7 and 8 only on the Supreme Court and Congress. And before we stop this afternoon, I want to try to say just a few words about those outside readings that supplement the class notes for Unit 7 on the Supreme Court and Unit 8 on the United States Congress. Okay, so that's the material. Expect 50 items, mostly true, false, some multiple choice, 10 or 15 being based on those readings. Okay? Also, everybody, I've heard from maybe half a dozen students on term papers. Remember, Thursday the 11th is the due date for the term paper. Okay, please keep that in mind. You may attach it to an email to me, or it can be uploaded on the course website. I think you'll find the link for the term papers in the modules area under Unit 8 at the very end of the modules area. All right? So, everybody, in case of any questions, problems, or difficulties, or issues that may arise, please contact me at david.cole@opsu.edu. I believe the due date for turning in grades for the end of this 8-week session is a week from today, the 14th. So I'll need to get the papers in, take a look at them Friday and Saturday. Should be able to get it all done Friday, well, more than likely Saturday, but we'll get them done over the weekend and get grades turned in. So if we can get those in on time, it'll help us to have time to take a look at the papers and compile grades. All right, so the exam on the 10th and the 11th, term papers due on the 11th, grades to be turned in shortly after that. So please get work in on time, if at all possible, and in case of any difficulty, please don't hesitate to contact me through the course website or at david.cole@opsu.edu. Everyone, let's say just a word about those outside readings. You have an article about the Supreme Court by Carlos Lozada of the Washington Post. And this largely takes the form of a book review. I believe the book is entitled 9 Black Robes by Joan Biskupik, if my memory serves me correctly, reporter for CNN. And Mr. Lozada compares that to a book that appeared 40 years ago about the Supreme Court, The Brethren, one of the authors of which was Bob Woodward, who was one of the reporters who broke the Watergate story. He put that book together along with his colleague shortly after, just a few years after the Watergate scandal broke in the 1970s. The point of the article, which again takes the form of a lengthy book review, is to anticipate what the Supreme Court might do going forward. There are 6 conservatives on the court, or at least 6 who've been appointed by Republican presidents, and they have to decide just how far they're going to go in reconsidering or perhaps overturning precedents from, in some cases, decades in the past. So that is what's being discussed in Mr. Lozada's essay, which takes the form of a review of a book by reporter Joan Biskupik, 9 Black Robes. That was lengthy enough that we only assigned 2 other readings for the exam. One by Walter Olson from the Reason magazine website, reason.com, discusses proportional representation. Now, we had talked about proportional representation earlier when we talked about political parties. We said that those are the rules of the game in other countries, but we generally use different rules of the game. The so-called first past the post system rather than the proportional representation that is found in so many other countries. But the reason we bring this up again is that Mr. Olson suggests some people think it might help and improve Congress if it were selected according to proportional representation. Okay? And what is the reason for that? Well, it seems to be the case that under the current system, we elect people who may be too extreme, and none of them are able to meet in the middle, shall we say. Examples of that might include Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, on the Democratic side. And then finally, you were asked to read the transcript of an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Republican side. Now, some people find her too extreme. You may find her congenial. Anyway, take care to read the transcript of this interview, which appeared just a couple of weeks ago on CBS's 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl as the interviewee. Okay? Take a careful look at that and see what you think of Representative Greene. She's representative of what some people think is a problem with the way Congress works and the way we elect members to Congress these days. But you may not think she poses a problem. You may like and support her. You just have to see for yourself. Okay, everybody, one other thing. In that interview with Representative Greene, you'll see that they make passing reference to the issue of the debt ceiling, the limit that's been placed on the debt, by the national debt by statute. You may have heard we're in some danger of exceeding the debt limit, and so it needs to be raised. But Republicans and Democrats cannot agree on the terms for it to be raised, and that may have to be hammered out in some kind of compromise over the next few weeks. I'm going to try to send you links to a couple of pieces about the debt ceiling, or the debt limit as it's sometimes called, so that you will have a good understanding of what's going on there. All right, this is a statutory limit on the amount of debt the United States can run up, imposed by Congress. And Leslie Stahl and Representative Greene discussed this briefly, I believe, in the interview, for which you've got the transcript to read for the final exam. All right. So those pieces won't be assigned for the final exam, but there will be three that are. One about the Supreme Court, one about proportional representation in Congress, potentially, and finally, a transcript of an interview with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, expect 10 or 15 items on those three readings for the exam. And that is it, everybody. Once again, the exam will be open for 48 hours, Wednesday and Thursday. Term papers are due Thursday. Please don't hesitate to contact me in case of any difficulties. Otherwise, take it easy, study hard, good luck. We've enjoyed having you this term. We hope you've had your eyes opened to some things that are going on in our system of which you might not have been aware. So good luck to everybody on the exam and on the papers for those who are turning them in. Thanks a lot.